So today we are going to be starting with third position on the D string. So I'm not sure how much you guys have done with positions. Positions are just when instead of your first finger being where it regularly would be, like on one, and you're like in first position here, you're going to be moving your first finger to another spot. So third position means you're going from one being where it regularly would be on the D string, which is E, and you're putting it on G instead. The reason that it's called third position is because imagine you had tapes like you did. You would have a tape here, this is your first tape, then your next tape would be your third finger, and then your third tape is your G. So that's why it's third position. It's the third tape. So I'm not sure exactly which part, like which page of the book this is, but I don't know, I guess it's the only page that goes over third position in D, so you'll find it. I'm just gonna go through like the examples 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and they're all really similar. It's just getting familiar with having your first finger on G and doing things from there instead of back here like you would. So in example 1, we start off with the basics, which is 1 on G. Match that with your open G so you can get a good one. That's like the first 2 measures of the song, just getting that G in tune. Then from there we move on and we play 3, which is going to be our A. The song doesn't mention this, but I think you should definitely try to match that 3 with your open A. Yeah, it's hard to get that one into. Alright, so that's just something to keep in mind when you're playing it, matching it with those open strings with the D. Now I'm just going to play through it, alright? And that's just a double stop at the end. You guys know double stops. Let's move on to number 2 from there. In this one we're practicing like the steps. And so when you're in third position and you have your 1 on G, these are the notes you'll be playing. It would be the same as this. So that would be in first position. Instead you're playing it up in third. 1, 3, 4. Yeah, so the thing about this one would be intonation too, starting with a good G, keeping that A in tune, and then you'll see that there's a little carrot looking thing above the 3 and the 4. That means half step, and a half step is like us, so if like 1 to 3 is a whole step because it's like that big of a step, then 3, 4 is so much smaller. That's a whole step. It's very small. A half step means your 4 is basically going to be like right next to your 3, like as close as you can get it. So this is what number 2 would sound like. It's really you just being in this position, doing 1, 3, 4. Those are the only notes you really have. It might get a little confusing in the second half of number 2. You have 4, 3, 1, 3, 4, 3. Yeah, I'm getting that G in tune. Yeah, so it takes some getting used to, but practicing it with the open notes and stuff will really help you to get comfortable with it. Moving on to 3, now we're adding in, it's that same concept where we're up here doing like 1, 3, 4, except we're doing extensions now. So instead of that like half step, that one, now it's going to be a whole step. So that would be something to practice just by itself, going to get that minor, the 1, 3 half step, versus the major, which would be extend. It would be the same as going. So in number 3, it's the same exact concept, just with that extended 2. So this is what it would sound like. Just like with the other ones, intonation's a big thing. So just trying to get used to getting your G's to match is like a big start, because that's like your 1 is like your foundation. You might start to like slip and get like sharp or flat. If you check with your G, your open G, you'll be able to like stay on top of it. So moving on, this is number 4 now. And basically the same thing, except we're combining the 2 things. So we're combining that extension 1 extend 4, and we're putting that together with the 1, 3 half step 4. So it's a combination of that one and. So number 4 would sound like this. That one is going to get you to like focus on the difference between the extend 2, 4 and the half step minor one. And lastly, we have number 5, which is us going into 4th position. So you'll see in this one, it's not like the Roman numerals. If there's a Roman numeral 3, that means you're in 3rd position. If there's a Roman numeral 4, means you're in 4th position. If you see a Roman numeral 1, you're in 1st position. That's just like how it is in music. So in this one, 4th position. So we talked about how this is 1st position, this one's 2nd position, and 4th finger is 3rd position. 4th position 3rd position, I mean. 4th finger is 3rd position because it's where our 3rd sticker would be. With 4th position, you're just going 1 more up. So now you're right here on your A. And that's how you can find 4th position, by matching your A's. And 4th position will just be, because that's your A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. Same thing, just in a different part of the cello, but it's the same exact notes. So in number 5, it's going to have you go from like 3rd to 4th, but you might want to like practice 4th position on its own, so you'll see like where the 4th position starts, it just has you going. So that's just something to practice. Just being like up in that 4th position. So in number 5, when we're switching from 3rd to 4th, we start with our 1st finger on G. And then it has us move up, shift 1 to A. And we come back to G for 3rd position. And then back to 4th. 3rd. So that's another one where you're going to be wanting to practice with your open strings, you know? third position is something, using your open strings will be so helpful when you're trying to like get this down, because if you can get your intonation good from the beginning, you'll be set, you know? You just want to make sure you have that good in-tune foundation. So matching it with the open strings. Whatever makes it make sense to you. So, yeah, that is third and fourth position on the D string.